This is the latest edition of the George Ondek Show. I'm in downtown historic Yonkers, my old hometown, and I'm in front of one of the historic restaurants, Julio's Restaurant on Park Hill Avenue, Yonkers. This is George Ondek. I'm back in my old home city of Yonkers, New York, and I'll always be a Yonkers-ite, and I'm here with Sam Reedy. He's the commander of the AMVETS post, which I'm a member of, and he's also AMVETS Veteran of the Year. Do I hear that, Sam?
That's correct, yes. A fellow from Buffalo submitted my name, and they give it to an outside organization after they look at the resumes, the bios, and it's an outside organization that picks, but a fellow from Buffalo is the one that put my name in, and I am so honored as American Veteran of the Year nationally.
National, that ain't state, that's national.
National, correct.
Wow, that is quite an honor. Yeah. Now, Sam, I've been invited back to Yonkers Saturday because you're going to have an event that's dear to my heart. I'm a Vietnam veteran, a disabled Vietnam veteran. I survived 2 rocket attacks in Vietnam, and I hear my old home city of Yonkers is going to be honoring Vietnam vets.
That's correct, George. This year, Mayor Mike Spano, as in the past, they've been honoring different veterans. Last year, I believe we honored the Korean vets. The year before, World War II. And this year, they're honoring the Vietnam veterans. And they're having a ceremony Saturday, March 29th at 10 a.m. at Veteran Memorial Plaza, which is at South Broadway by Washington Park.
They're going to shoot the guns that day?
They're going to have a complete ceremony honoring all veterans, the Vietnam vets. And of course, a veteran is a veteran is a veteran.
Right. I can still remember 11/17/66, me being married 2.5 years, getting the letter from President Johnson saying he requested my service, and I was glad to serve my country.
I went in 9/12/66 and got out 9/11/68.
Okay, I'll be very happy to see you Saturday. This is the introduction to that event, and we'll be there. Mayor Mike Spano will be honoring the veterans, and
yes, Mike does a good job. He's putting a lot of programs together for the veterans, yes, and it's really nice.
That's excellent. And I really salute Yonkers. They've done something a new adopted city, Peekskill, hasn't done yet, passed that Vietnam's vets benefit bill that we should get a break on our school tax.
Unfortunately, George, there aren't too many elected officials that are veterans, and that's why there isn't enough legislation passed for the veterans.
Sam, it spurred me on so much I've decided to run for school board in Peekskill because we need a veteran's voice there.
Good luck, George.
Okay,
God bless
thank you, Sam. Look forward to seeing you Saturday.
See you Saturday morning, George.
Okay,
thank
you. Thank you for your service.
Okay.
Right. I'm now back in my home city, Yonkers, New York, and it's March 29th. Mayor Mike Spano is going to be honoring the Vietnam veterans, and I'm here with the commander of the AMVETS post, Sam Reedy.
Post 40, Yonkers, New York.
On Waverly Street?
Waverly Street in Yonkers.
And Sam is the one who has been made national honors of AMVETS Veteran of the Year.
American Veteran of the Year, yes, correct, George. I'm American Veteran of the Year. But this today is about the Vietnam veterans that served. The city is honoring Mayor Mike Spano, and the Veteran Service Agency are honoring all Vietnam veterans and Vietnam-era veterans.
And Sammy, I'm very proud to say I am a Vietnam vet from Yonkers, proud to be back in beautiful downtown Getty Square, my hometown, where I grew up in the shadow of City Hall.
Well, I'm a Vietnam-era veteran, and I served 66, 68. And it was an honor serving our country, and God bless America.
Well, you're to be honored, and anybody who served this country should be honored.
Well, thank you, George, and God bless America.
And thank you for inviting the George Ondek Show to
his
hometown, Yonkers, New York.
Proud to have you here in Yonkers, George.
Thank you. We're now getting a shot of historic Getty Square in Yonkers and historic St. John's Church, which has probably been there a couple of 100 years. Service that the Vietnam vets gave to America.
Well, I think it's, a tribute that we are going to have this ceremony here in Yonkers State honoring them, and that we have so many fabulous, terrific men and maybe a few women who were part of service during the very difficult time. And I think it's so important that we take this opportunity to honor their service and to give them the credit they do.
It took so long to honor Vietnam
Right,
veterans.
right.
Wasn't that a shame if you remember your
I
history
remember
books?
I was around. It's something I think we have learned from, that we need to do better, and we will do better.
And I am a disabled vet from Vietnam. And Vito Pinto gives me very good service with the county veterans.
Well, we're blessed. We have several good counselors up there.
Eddie Fagan.
And we have Dan Griffin and Mikhail Ansari. And, you know, we're still getting Vietnam vets coming in for service.
And you do great
and
service.
We're trying to reach out to the young people. I just wish that the VA and the DOD would give us the names and addresses. This way we can contact.
I want to thank both of you. They're
Thank
about
you
to
so
start.
much.
And we really thank Mayor Mike Spano and the Veterans Committee of Yonkers for putting this on.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you,
It's
Ms.
a
Mayor.
pleasure.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mr.
Thank
Pinto. Continue to
Appreciate it.
do the good work
we're gonna
at
try.
111 East Post Road, White Plains.
Like 112.
112.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say good morning to everybody. The weather wasn't exactly with us, but as we used to say, it never rains on a good soldier. Mayor Spano, the Yonkers Veteran Services, and the Central Committee of Veterans of Yonkers welcome you all home, officially. Today, March 29th, has been designated as Vietnam Veterans Recognition Day. On this date in 1973, the last combat soldiers were pulled out of South Vietnam and the Vietnamese took over the fight. Vietnam veterans were the only ones who went to war and upon their return received no recognition for their service, let alone an appropriate welcome home. Today, Mayor Spano is correcting that. At a recent Vietnam veterans meeting, some of the veterans shared the difficulties they faced in battle. And when they returned home, being disrespected as a reward for their service. Ceremonies like this today not only provide the recognition those veterans deserve for their service, but will bring them the much-needed sense of closure and validation. Some Vietnam veterans sitting here today have told me how local VFWs and American Legions shunned them upon their return back in the 60s. Today, I am proud to say that a couple of those veterans now lead as commanders the two biggest and most active posts in Yonkers. That would be my commander, Joe Purcelli of the Empire Post. And my newfound friend, Bruce Ronaldo from Beja. These veterans never gave up helping veterans. That's why today I ask all my brothers in combat and all veterans that they should never again be one generation to abandon another. Thank you. Captain, please post the colors. photo alms. This time I'd like to call up Cadet Lieutenant Leonora Ware for our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Now I'd like to have Deputy Veteran Services Dan Maria for the invocation.
Please uncover. Heavenly Father, thank you for this gathering. Thank you for bringing all brothers and sisters together. Let this day be the day that begins, that no military veteran ever returns home forgotten and alone. Let us all make that pledge to do what God has done to keep us all together, no matter what color, no matter what skin, no matter what religion, no matter what faith. Let us all remember we are all Americans, we are all veterans, and we are all God's children. Heavenly Father, bless us all. Bless our government, bless our leaders, and bless those in our communities. And God bless Yonkers and the United States of America. Amen.
Thank you, Dan. Now I'd like to, first of all, acknowledge some of our dignitaries out. Representing Congressman Engel, Ken Switzer. Representing Rob Astorino, Vito Pinto. Andrea Stewart Cousin, our senator. Shelley Myers, our assemblywoman. Mike Sabatino, majority leader. Dennis Shepard. Mike Bream. John Larkin. Judge Ed Gaffney. Harold Dworsky, past chairman, Central Committee. Hope Hollingsworth, Gold Star Mothers. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry. Oh, and Sydney Jennings from the Gold Star Mothers. Also, I just noticed, and Sam Reddy from the AMVETS. Oh, please be seated. I'd like to ask Joe Blank, Vietnam veteran, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Now I'd like to have the pleasure of introducing my boss, the Honorable Mayor Mike Spano.
Thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. Of course, to the director and his staff who do such a wonderful job here each and every day for the veterans of our city, I want to say a special thank you. A special thank you on behalf of myself, on behalf of the City Council here with me at the City of Yonkers. We're here today to give special thanks to you, to the veterans. Also, we're joined today by 2 members of our state delegation. Now, I know it's my job once in a while to give them the business. I realize that. But I will tell you this. I know what budget week is like at the state capitol. I know there's very long nights, very little sleep for 4 or 5 days coming. I know that these 2 individuals are here because they just got back here, and they're here for you, and they have to go back to Albany. So I realize how hard that is, and I realize the commitment they've made. So just a special thank you to the Democratic Conference leader, Senator Stuart Cousins, and to Senator Michelle Mayer. You're hard at work fighting for Yonkers, and we got our fingers crossed that we're going to get even more. So we're fighting for that too, but just a special thanks for the good hard work. And some of them. Today we welcome home the brave men and women who fought in the Vietnam War and Vietnam Veterans Day. March 29th commemorates the day when the last of the U.S. troops have left Vietnam and the war was under South Vietnamese leadership. Today provides an opportunity for us to reflect on the significance and of the sacrifices that these individuals made for our country and for the rights of those in Vietnam. Special recognition, obviously, to former Mayor John Spencer, to Judge Gaffney, and obviously to our Veterans Director Navarro. We especially want to remember the 58 individuals from Yonkers, New York, who died while fighting in Vietnam. I know that we have the family of John Lyons is here with us today, and I want to recognize the family of John Lyons. Thank you. Unfortunately, history has not always been kind to our Vietnam veterans, especially during the time immediately following their return to the States. But I want to make sure that our veterans know that Yonkers has not forgotten. We have not forgotten your sacrifices, and we appreciate the battles you faced as young men and women. In recognition of your commitment to our country, the City of Yonkers wants to thank you by officially designating this year will be designated to our Vietnam veterans. And with that dedication, throughout the year, we will hold events in memory of those who lost and those of you who work, volunteer, and live in the spirit of your fallen comrades. On July 5th, the city will host a concert for you at Untermeyer Park. This will be just one of other simple gestures to our surviving veterans and family members to say thank you for your initial and continued service to America. As always, today we should also take this time to recognize all Americans who answer the call of duty and fight for our freedom and justice here and abroad, injustice here and abroad, from obviously years past and those who continue to fight for us today. I want to God bless you all. God bless our great city of Yonkers. God bless our Gold Star mothers who are here with us today. God bless our veterans. God bless America. And may we all continue to be safe. But we all remember one thing. that this country is the greatest country in the history of the world because of the dedication and sacrifices that have been made by the soldiers of the U.S. Armed Forces. Thank you. God bless you.
And as always, I forgot somebody. The Beijar Ladies Auxiliary will join us today. Now it's time for my brothers here. I'm sorry. It's time to introduce another Vietnam veteran, Judge Edward Gaffney.
Good morning. Good morning. Boy, do I feel safe in this room. You guys look like you're ready to go right now. I don't know why we moved indoors. I thought God had arranged the rain so that we would feel more at home. But you guys who are over there know what we're talking about. We are gathered here on this 29th day of March 2014 to honor Vietnam veterans. Today is the day that we mark the 41st anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War. However, if you just look around, folks, and you will see vivid proof, the veterans sitting here today, that for many, if not all, the war never ended. It still rages on in those who fought it. Ask any person whose family member, father, son, daughter, sister, brother, cousin, uncle, or aunt fought or died in that war, if it is over. They will tell you that it is an everyday event for them. There is a saying, you can take the veteran out of Vietnam, but you cannot take Vietnam out of the veteran. How true that is. The Vietnam veterans gathered here today have been living with their memories of that experience for the vast majority of their lives. I was just 15 years old when two very fine, likable, athletic young men from my neighborhood were killed while serving in the Army. One was a swimmer and a basketball player, and the other was a baseball and football player. As a child growing up, I had spent many days watching them perform. They were so good at their respective sports that you couldn't help but be mesmerized when you saw them. At first, I didn't know why or where they died, but I did know that their families were devastated. I did not realize it at that point, but the ugly reality of Vietnam had actually entered into my life. There is no closure for those who have survived the war. It is an ongoing, everyday event. While the impact differs from person to person, it is a simple truth that each of us is a product of our life's experiences, and there is no escaping from our memories. War is hell. It is not glory. It is pure, unadulterated horror, unimaginable to those who have not experienced it. And it is a horror that is engaged in mostly by the very young. Many of us were teenagers in Vietnam. We were just kids. If you survived Vietnam, you then had a very long time to live with the experiences that you had over there. I was truly honored when I was asked to speak here today, but preparing for this opened up many memories, which were tucked away in my mind. More importantly, though, it has touched the core of every Vietnam veteran who is here today. We live in a world of instant access to communication and research. Social media rules the day. Since I learned of today's event, I have noticed a steady increase in the posting by Vietnam veterans, photos, stories, remembrances of comrades. I know that my fellow veterans are proud that today has come, but I also know that they have been dreading today because the floodgates of their memories have been opened, and it is ever so painful. So I salute them for having the courage to be here today. There is a wall in Washington that carries the names of those men and women who were killed in Vietnam. 58,282 names are inscribed on that monument. Those young men and women are forever frozen in time at the age they were when they were killed. When their families and loved ones think about them, the thoughts are of them as they were last together. Perhaps they were 18, 19, 20, or 21 years of age, happy and full of life. The truth is, though, that when the men and women who survived Vietnam think of someone who was with them, or think of an event that happened over there, they too are viewing the scene as they were at the time. Perhaps they were 18, 19, or 21 years of age, happy and full of life. When their mind's eye replays that scene, be it happy, sad, or horrific, the veteran sees him or herself at the age that it occurred. We too are frozen in time. The men and women of this nation who served in Vietnam did so with as much honor and sacrifice as any who had come before them. The Vietnam veteran can proudly stand with those who fought in the Revolutionary War, World War I, World War II, and Korea. The Vietnam War was a tough one. It was fought in jungles, mountains, deltas, rice paddies, and on rivers. And we had men on ships in the ocean. It was as hot as hell over there, and the monsoons made it seem as though we needed Noah's Ark. The enemy was determined, tenacious, treacherous, and very skilled at the art of war. The people of Vietnam had been at war for ages, having fought the Japanese and the French. The North Vietnamese army was a well-armed, by the Russians and the Chinese, and well-disciplined outfit. The Viet Cong was stealthy, resourceful, and could blend into the background of the country. Yet, the men who were here held their ground and fought valiantly. Be you a volunteer or a draftee, you served your country well. Yes, you fought valiantly against the enemy, but while you were doing so, your own country turned on you. Those serving in Vietnam were demonized as baby killers, drug users, and indiscriminate killers of civilians. Hollywood cranked out films perpetuating that myth. If your name was discovered by the enemy, it was given to groups in this country, fellow Americans, who would harass your family. Even the government, the people who sent us to Vietnam, turned on us. They poisoned us with Agent Orange, and they stopped bombing North Vietnam. They actually sent us into a combat against an enemy that could reinforce itself without any fear of reprisal. When you returned to this country, you were welcomed back only by your families. With very few exceptions, even your friends completely ignored the fact that you had disappeared for over a year. If you had been wounded, no mention was ever made of it. The only people that you had to talk to were fellow veterans, and then you only spoke when others were not around. As a returned veteran, your government was, once again, not there for you. If you went to the VA for a job, you were told to read the local newspaper. You didn't have post-traumatic stress disorder or traumatic brain injury because those maladies had been yet recognized by the medical professions. You were just a weak, drunk drug addict, or all of the above. Your skin problems, rashes and losing your skin, and your developing cancer was not caused by Agent Orange. Your hearing loss was not the result of combat, but just a sign that you were aging. You were not treated properly. But what hurt, what really hurt, is that other veterans turned their back on you. There are Vietnam veterans in this audience today who were denied admissions into local VFW clubs in this city. For some reason, unbeknownst to us, our fellow veterans from other conflicts had adopted the belief that Vietnam veteran was no good. So what you had when you returned home was that you had fought a war that this country refused to win, were vilified and despised by many of your countrymen, while others were just simply apathetic. You were not supported by your government's administration, and you were rejected by other veterans. When you combine those factors with the horrors that you experienced in combat, you had every right to withdraw and turn your back on those who rejected you. And you did, for a while. Most of us went about quietly building a life for themselves. It wasn't easy, and we had many setbacks. Unfortunately, though, some of our fellow Vietnam veterans could not handle the totality of their experiences and drifted off to substance abuse. Many of them are now dead, and others are still imprisoned. But you came back, and when you did, you came back with a vengeance. Since the other veteran organizations had turned their collective backs on you, you formed your own group, the Vietnam Veterans of America. The guiding principle of that organization is the theme of today's event. Never again will one generation of veterans abandon another. Today, it is the Vietnam veteran who goes to airports to greet troops returning from battles overseas. It is the Vietnam veteran who, by keeping religious zealots at bay, guards the sanctity of funerals for our servicemen and women who have been killed in action. It is the Vietnam veteran who forms a great part of events, such as Rolling Thunder. Right here in Yonkers, the Vietnam veteran has been an important part of our lives. Many Vietnam veterans have served on the police, fire departments, and other city agencies, protecting and serving the citizens of Yonkers. John Spencer served as our mayor. Tom Dickerson served us as a judge and continues to serve as one of the finest appellate judges in this state. Ed Fitzgerald, who's here with us today, served as a judge and an important member of the police department. Lou Navarro and Dan Morea serve us in the Veteran Services Agency. Frank Sulo entertains us at our annual Veteran Day picnic and other events. Wilfredo Agosto puts on martial arts demonstrations for our veterans. Joe Porcelli, retired fireman from Mount Vernon, serves as the commander of VFW and the VFW Empire Post, and Bruce, as we learned, is now the commander of the Bay Yard. Ira Goldman is also here. Well, what can we say about Ira except that he's involved in everything? While I am on the topic, what can you say but thanks to the city of Yonkers? This is a city where the mayor, Mike Spano, has always supported veterans. It has its own veterans agency, parades, ceremonies, and picnics, and other other elected officials who are veteran friendly, such as Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins, whose father is a Purple Heart recipient, and Assembly Member Shelley Mayer, whose father was a World War II veteran. Our City Council has just passed the Veterans Tax Bill. So we are blessed in this city. To me, the Vietnam veteran is the true epitome of veterans helping veterans, and veterans helping their communities. Everything that you do honors the memory of your service and that of the 58,282 people listed on the Vietnam Wall. Those people are forever your brothers and sisters. I want to assure the Gold Star mothers and the other family members who are here, the Lyons family, that when your loved ones were hurt and died, they were accompanied by young men who loved them and tried to do everything they could to save them. You who have been in combat know that you may have been in the military for your belief in the principles of this country, but that is not why you fight and possibly die. Servicemen and women fight and die for each other. When you look into the eyes of another during battle, you know that that other person has your back and you have theirs. It is that simple, yet it is that complex, that you would give your life for another and that they would give theirs for you. You had every right to turn your back, walk away, and stay away, but you did not. You honor your service and your commitment to your country by continuing to serve veterans of all eras. You know the value of the Brotherhood of Arms. It is because of that that you are one of the greatest, if not the greatest, generations of veterans that this world has ever seen. I applaud you. not be welcoming you home today because you were welcomed home decades ago by your families, and you are welcomed home daily by your spouses and children and your other family members who struggle to understand us and who, despite our issues, love us. Yes, we have issues, but I will leave it at that. I won't give your secrets away. I will tell you that I am proud to be one of you and that I love you. God bless America, and may God protect and serve and protect our servicemen and women. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. I know the judge doesn't like to be called judge at ceremonies like this. He likes to be called the veteran. So, thank you. Again, before we get to the reading of the names, I'd like to just remind everybody, I think, we're going to check in on it, but I think Mayor Spano is the first mayor in Yonkers to actually welcome us home, and I'd like to thank him for that. Bruce, would you start?
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Lou, thank you for recognizing the Ladies Auxiliary of the Charles N. Baker Jr. American Legion Post. It is an honor and a privilege to read off the following names of Yonkers residents who made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to their country. Arthur C. Alterwisher, John A. Amadeo, Joseph A. Aramento, Francis M. Boyle, Lester Bracey, Donald W. Bruck, and James J. Buonauto.
To continue, John F. Kalina Jr., Kenneth M. Kardash, William M. Kelly, George Lathan, John J. Lyons, Frank J. Marcarney, Anthony G. Barasco. Gone but not forgotten.
Good afternoon. James A. Burke, Ernest D. Burns, Peter B. Bushley, William C. Jitney, Thomas O. Clark, Lee W. Claw, Wilbert E. Collins, John C. Crawford.
James A. Mead, Stephen C. Mixot, Peter J. Mitchell, Carlos A. Morales, Milton L. Olive III, James S. Pitches, Raymond J. Poncurak, William T. Reach. All gave some gave all.
Jeffrey B. Dodge, William B. Dorsey, Keith W. Duffy, Robert M. Fitzgerald, David H. Gamboa, Robert F. Geary, Richard A. Giuliani. May you rest in peace, my brothers.
Martin D. Riley, John F. Richter, Miguel A. Rivera, Gary A. Sansevino, Robert P. Schwab, James T. Scott, Daniel L. Shearer. May God bless them and God bless their families.
Thomas E. Gritch, Arthur H. Harding, Richard F. Henrick, Louis P. Hilario, Wayne M. Horn, Leon J. Jackson, Ralph D. Johnson, Hampton C. Judson, gone but never forgotten.
Alan L. Smith, John R. Turner, John M. Vaughn, Franz X. Wallner, Bruce D. Webb, and Carlos A.M. de la Hoya. No greater thing a man can do but lay down his life for another. Thank you.
I ask for a moment of silence. Thank you. This time we'll conclude with God Bless America with Cadet Lieutenant.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Mayor Spano, I want to thank you on behalf of a Yonkers veteran who left 48 years ago to serve in Vietnam, and it took a long time for a mayor to thank Vietnam veterans, and I came from Peekskill today to be honored by you. Thank you so much.
You know what? It's to do an official thank you is something long overdue, especially overall in America today. So for us to take this year's veteran celebrations and to memorialize and to recognize those who came back, those who gave some, those who gave it all, who've come back from Vietnam, that's the appropriate thing for us to do. The veterans have done nothing but be patriotic, have done nothing but give themselves for this country, to be the greatest country in the world. So we have to say thank you to every veteran, and no generation should ever be forgotten.
And Mr. Mayor, you not only talk the talk, you do the action. You've already passed a veterans tax break that the state had requested, and other cities are dragging their feet. I thank you very much as a disabled veteran from Yonkers. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
It's been a great day in Yonkers. I'm here again with Commander Sam Reedy, and in the background is beautiful St. Joseph's Hospital and the church I went to, St. Mary's. Was it a great day for the veterans?
Well,
today,
it always is a good day, and it's nice to know that the veterans are remembered people. Those who made that sacrifice and served our country, when they were called, they went and served and did what they had to do.
And again, we thank Mayor Mike Spano, who put this on today, and the Veterans
Mike
Committee.
Spano, Gail, who is the head of the Mayor's Constituent Services,
Burns.
Gail Burns, and of course the Veteran Service Agency with Lou Navarro.
Okay, and again, we thank Mr. Sam Reedy and my viewers. This has been George Ondek, my viewers on YouTube all over the world and on Cablevision in the 40 cities in northern Westchester that this is shown on. I'll see you again. And let's hope there's peace in the world and we don't have to have any more veterans. Right,
Yes,
Sam?
yes. Once again, George, not to be repetitious, God bless America.
God bless America.